This must have been an opportunity that you just couldn't turn down.
Actually, yeah, because Che Walker wrote it, and he is the man that brought me into this industry. So I was immediately kind of jumping at the chance to give back to him. Now that I was in a position to help him somehow, I took it, and then the part of Simone called me because I saw a gap in the characters that look like me playing roles like Simone. I never saw a Beauty and the Beast that had a beautiful person that looked like me. So I thought I'm going to take that so that when the kids are watching it, they can know there was someone that didn't have no hair, that was dark as midnight, and she fell in love and she was lovable and she was vulnerable and strong at the same time.
And I think that's the power of the writing, isn't it, really?
Yes, 100%. It's the power of the writing, it's the power of the characters that Che formed first in 1996. So this is a long time ago. They've been embedded in him, so it was very easy to kind of embed them into ourselves.
And here you are, you're doing another musical.
Yeah. No, it feels, it feels lovely to be doing it. This is such a wonderful film to be a part of. Like, it's such a kind of celebration of life. All the sort of the kind of beautiful, rich normality of life and how rich normal life is, all the ups and downs. So yeah, it's a real pleasure.
And it seems to be a celebration of London as well. Is that something that you found when you read the script?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like Camden's at the heart of it, and Camden sort of being a microcosm of London in general, which is like, it's this melting pot of energies and people from different backgrounds and countries and classes, and this massive community that is London, this kind of real diverse, wonderful place. And Camden is a sort of, a smaller version of that.
Your character, what was it about him that you wanted to play him?
Well, just to be involved in the project in general, and then but Gil particularly was Tinge put together a sizzle reel before. When she sent the script for people to audition, there was a bit of footage where it kind of showed her vision for the film and the kind of vibe that we've been working towards. And within that, there was a little introduction to every character, and the whole sizzle reel I thought was fantastic. But then Gil's little bit was full. All the visual references were kind of from music videos and modern dance and this really kind of odd physicality. And I just thought that's something I really wanted to try,
Something as well that felt quite experimental.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, like, the references that she was pulling out were really kind of diverse in terms of, once we got started even as well, there was like Japanese Buto dancing, which I'd never seen before, and then mixed with Buster Keaton. And it was so lovely to kind of just have this wealth of stuff to research and kind of play around with. It was and we just used to back and forth ideas, sending videos to each other, either of myself trying stuff, and I worked with this wonderful choreographer called Christian Valet, who kind of worked particularly on Gil's stuff. So it was just great. It was a real kind of collaborative experience,
When you were presented with the script, what was it that resonated with you that you wanted to helm the project?
It was like sheer joy when I read the script, real excitement. Che's work is amazing, it's poetic. It kind of takes street culture and just life as we know it and real human emotions that we recognise, and he turns it into poetry. And then like Arthur's music, like he's obviously a musical genius, right? It is really, really. When I got the materials, I was like made up. I could see complex, layered female characters that I could connect to and that I wanted to see on screen. And then I was like, wow, and I've got someone's offering me the potential job of delivering this to the world. Amazing, yeah.
And there's a strong kind of visual aesthetic to the film. Can you talk to us a little bit more about the kind of the vivid use of colour?
Yeah, I mean, the DOP, Catherine, was like right from the start. She knew that she wanted the colours to be really vibrant, and we wanted to show a London that hadn't really been seen before, that was real, but at the same time kind of captured the imagination that we have. What intoxicates, look, here we are in London, and the smell of it, and the colours and the lights, it's intoxicating. And we wanted to capture that. And so Catherine chose anamorphic lenses, which on our tiny budget was a real, the producers, Nadine and Amanda, were so female producers, really supportive of us being ambitious in terms of using anamorphic lenses, really lighting things carefully, taking our time, and also, capturing the singing live. you know, which for me as a director, I was like, I knew, having seen Les Mis, I knew that I really wanted live singing.
Well, everybody's been singing your praises on the carpet this evening because this is based on your play.
It is based on my play. It was the first play I wrote, and I was actually working as a security guard when I wrote it. So I was kind of scribbling it, and then my boss would come around, I'd hide it under the table and then bring it out. And here we are, 23 years later. So it's wonderful.
When somebody wants to adapt your play, obviously this is your baby, it's a personal project, so is it hard to then let go and then give it to producers and another filmmaker to helm it?
Well, it's a funny process, but like, because Che did the adaptation of the script, and when you sent me the first draft of that script, I just thought, wow, because I couldn't quite imagine what it would be like blown up into a bigger thing, but you've totally got the world of where this play comes from and all the extra characters that come in. You've done such an amazing job.
Thank you very much. And I also feel because Michaela and Arinze and Ronke are all former students of mine, that it was just so special, and it felt like it was a family event and it was ours. So.
Yeah. And of course, obviously, when it's a play, it's contained on stage. So having to have it adapted and open up a bit, was that a challenge? Do you think?
It took a while to figure it out, but I think we hope we've done it well. Yeah.
Music is obviously key. Can you give us some of the inspiration behind it?
We wanted it to be a kind of timeless soul piece when we first wrote it, and I think that the essence of that is still within the film, and like bits of it have been updated and changed, and you know, the scale of, I always wanted a string section on it, and we couldn't afford string or brass when we did the play. We were trying so hard to get a brass section, and to hear the songs with a full string arrangement is just, I went to the string recording of it, and it was one of the most emotional days, and the people who did the string arrangement on it have done such a great job on that. So yeah, like some of it's like how I always imagined it to sound, and others, like, it's gone in different directions, and that's really exciting as well. So
it feels that the Tinge has made this environment for the actors as well to kind of not improvise almost.
Right. Well, if you get Michaela and Arinze improvising, that's better than most people can write. So it's just a great thing. It's magical. Yeah.
So for an actor, it's all about the script. What was it about this script that you just felt that you had to be a part of?
You know what was really fun was that, like, basically we had an opportunity to, like, improv. We had 3 weeks of rehearsal, so we had an opportunity to improv. So that was really fun because we were giving, like, our own essences. All of the character work we all individually did. We all had an opportunity to bring it to the set, to the work. But obviously it's Che, and Che uses big intellectual words that I probably wouldn't know how to say. But you learn, I mean, you Google define them, you learn what they mean. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I think that's what brought me to the script.
What was it about the character that you particularly liked playing or wanted to play?
I love people who just don't exist within the rules of society. Yvonne does not care. She doesn't care. Like, she probably would have turned up here today in fucking trainers and hot pants. Do you know what I mean? She would not care about fashion or whatever that stuff is. She'd just be like, oh, okay. So I love Yvonne for her freedom. So that definitely drew me to her.
And the film is a love letter to London, and we see Camden in a way we probably have not seen it before.
I agree with you, 100%. It's a love letter. It's gorgeous. And it's about people just loving each other, loving the space that I mean, London is my favourite place. I've travelled around the world for work, and I think London is... I could just walk along the South Bank any time of the day, always, and just be filled with joy, you know, 100%.
When you read the script, what was it that attracted you to it?
Everything. Where'd you start? I mean, I knew Che Walker's work from when I was a kid at National Youth Theatre. I'd met him, and he was a bit of a hero of mine anyway. And then I found out that Michaela was attached to it, and Arinze, who I'd met at a playwriting group years before. And the fact that I got to sing, which is something I haven't done for a long, long time. It's just, and I sort of knew the stage version anyway. I'd read that. And Arthur Darvill's music. I mean, the list goes on.
And I believe as well, Tinge very much kind of evoked an environment of being able to sort of self-express and improvise. Was that something as well that was probably terrifying but invigorating?
Absolutely terrifying, yeah. But she's absolutely sort of adamant really on a spirit of play, and she gave us a lot of license and a lot of freedom, and I just sort of went along for the ride really. Michaela's such a force of nature that I was with her and whatever she wanted to do. Yeah.
Is it important that we've got platforms like Netflix that now allow that it's a platform where really creative filmmakers actually can get their work screened?
Yeah, and it means that a much broader audience will see this film than those people who just go to cinema and see it. And I think it's an important story, and I think it's told with a real lightness of touch, and so I hope a lot of people get to see it now.
Very much a love letter to this great city called London.
Yeah, definitely, and in a day and age where it can feel quite hard and bleak and tough, it's a sort of a lovely thing to be able to celebrate it.
It is a very visually vibrant film, isn't it?
It is, yeah. The colours and well, as it should be with a musical. It's larger than life and it's beautiful. Yeah.
What was the inspiration for you to want to make the film anyway? Because it's an adaptation of a play, isn't it?
It is, and it's such a good play. Who wouldn't want to make it into a film? The characters were great. It was all set in a bar originally, so we knew that we had to turn it into a bigger prospect for a film. But the original script was fantastic. The music was fantastic. The characters were great. So we just thought, this should be a film. And why don't we have more films like this about young people in Britain, let alone London? But Camden, I think, is another character in it. And I think it's lovely to take a very famous part of London and celebrate it.